Hello students, welcome to this short video presentation on ambiguity. Before I move on to the content, let me give you the scheme of my presentation. First, I shall define the term ambiguity and then tell you why there is a need to avoid ambiguity. Then I shall give you a couple of examples. I will also give a few tips to avoid ambiguity, and the last slide contains a few very interesting YouTube links. Now, the Cambridge Dictionary defines ambiguity as the fact of something having more than one possible meaning and therefore possibly causing confusion. So, ambiguity refers to a word or an expression that can be understood in two or more possible ways. Now, the adjective form of the term is ambiguous, meaning capable of being understood in two or more possible senses or ways. Now, let me tell you why there is a need to avoid ambiguity. If at all you wish to share your ideas effectively and correctly, you have to avoid ambiguity. We all know that communication is a basic human right. As social beings, we know that human communication is something intrinsic, and we exercise this right to share our opinions, ideas, including emotions. So, human communication is actually a social interaction process, and language plays a very important tool. In the present day scenario, we talk a lot about globalization, communication, technology, and the digital revolution. So, language becomes very, very important. So, there are certain barriers which we have to consciously remove. And one such barrier is ambiguity, because it causes a lot of misunderstandings. Sometimes they are humorous, but then sometimes they don't carry the exact information. Now look at these interesting examples. Take the first one. Foreigners are hunting dogs. Now, would you like to say that the dogs are hunted by the foreigners, or the foreigners are called hunting dogs? So there is an ambiguity. Now look at the second sentence. Each of us saw her duck. In the first place, are you referring to the action of ducking, or you mean to say that you saw the bird, that is the duck? Look at the third one. The chicken is ready to eat. Do you mean to say that the cooked chicken or the dish is ready to be served, or the chicken is going to eat? So look at the ambiguity in all these examples. So if you want to communicate effectively, we need to avoid ambiguity. How is it possible? In the first place, we must focus on the word order. We all know that in the English language, word order is something very, very important. So we need to follow that order. For example, you can use absolute modifiers like only, always, so that there is clarity in what you wish to say or what you want to write. Then in the case of pronouns and adverbs, we need to pay special attention because they cause ambiguity. So let us learn to use pronouns and adverbs very carefully. Now what about the modifier? There is an example that is given. The sentence which is given in the red and the one in the green. Look at the ambiguity in the sentence that is given in the red. John saw Jane driving down the street. How do you refine this and see to it that there is no ambiguity? Look at the line. While driving down the street, John saw Jane. So there is clarity. Now in the case of punctuation marks, we must pay attention. Look at the example. Hang me, comma, not leave him. I'm sorry, hang him, comma, not leave him. Now, if you slightly change the position of the comma, it goes like this. Hang him not, leave him. Now we move on to indefinite pronouns. How can you avoid indefinite pronouns? Look at the sentence in red. After the employer appoints the manager, he or she shall supervise. The sentence goes on. Now, let us make it sound perfect by refining the sentence like this. After the employer appoints the manager, comma, the manager shall supervise. So there is clarity. Then you should also focus on how to avoid grouping together two or more prepositional phrases. Every English major student of Fatima College in Chennai. Make it very simple. Every English major student of Fatima College who lives in Chennai. Now these are some of the interesting links. They are interesting as well as informative. So let us make sure that ambiguity has to be avoided, whether it is in oral spoken mode or in formal written language.